What's up, everybody? Greg Chapman here with another edition of the Gentleman Gorilla Small Business Marketing Podcast, and I am joined today by my good friend Renee Waddell, owner of Dolce Italian Ice and new awesome badass in the Arbonne business.
Yes.
Renee, can you please introduce yourself to the people and tell us a little bit more about yourself and your business?
So yes, my name is Renee Waddell. I've owned Dolce Italian Ice for almost 4 years now. So it's super exciting.
That's a local PB shop, right?
It's a local shop in PB. So we have Italian ice, we have frozen custard, all kinds of frozen desserts. We have vegan soft serve.
Best vegan dessert in San Diego, right?
Yeah, we won best vegan dessert 2 years in a row. So
That's
super,
cool.
super good stuff. And so I've been doing that for 4 years. That's my first small business that I've ever owned. And I also do Arbonne. So I have my own virtual health and wellness franchise with Arbonne. It's a skincare company. We have makeup, we have nutritional products. So we have it all. So I'm just kind of your local entrepreneur, I guess. And I'm from San Diego, so born and raised. Went to school for college in San Francisco. So I was up there for 4 years and decided that I needed to be back in the warm weather and by my family. Most of my family is here, so love it in San Diego. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know that I moved here like 5 or 6 years ago, and I think we met sometime in that kind of range.
Yeah.
And then in PB, of course, but
yeah, I bothered you at the bar.
Right. Yeah, she used to like jump on my back. If any of you knew me back then, I was running security at PB Local, and I ran the line to get upstairs into the party. And so it was just madhouse, line of 100 drunk people in front of me yelling at me, and people coming down the stairs. And she used to just like jump on my shoulders from the stairs, and I didn't even know it. And I'd be like, "Oh my God, it's a Renee."
I mean,
So,
I had to skip the line somehow,
That's make friends with the guy.
Yeah, right?
That's pretty good. So, you got me drinking your drink this morning.
We're fizzing.
This is fizzing. We're fizzing.
We're fizzing.
Give me like fizz cheers.
Fizz cheers. Oops. I'm so excited that
Ta-da.
you're fizzing. Cheers.
This is my first fizz, by the way.
Okay, what are your thoughts? Mind you, I gave him this fizz, and he didn't even ask what's in it, what it's all about. He's just like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm like, wow, you're so trusting.
I mean, on one hand, though, I have been watching you be like every single day for the last year.
Fizz.
Be like, fizz.
Fizz is life.
Yeah.
It's like our best-selling product, so we promote the crap out of it.
It's pretty delicious.
But it's amazing.
I kind of want to put some tequila in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the best mixer. It's the best everything. It's a hangover cure.
I'm going to put tequila in this, guys.
Wait, I want some.
All right.
It's a hangover cure.
It's a 9 a.m. podcast, by the way.
It's a coffee replacement. It's a mixer. Oh, my God. Wow, we're doing it.
We're doing this.
I thought I was going to be done drinking when I got back from Mexico, and that's not happening. I mean, why not, though?
Espolón.
I feel like shameless plug.
The skeleton guy tequila.
Sponsor us, Espolón.
Actually, I fucking love Espolón. I think it's George Clooney's brand.
Really?
Or maybe, I think I heard he sold it. I don't know.
Oh,
But
I want to have my own alcohol.
I do too.
I feel like, no, that'd be dangerous. Never mind. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm scared.
I'm slowly switching away from alcohol.
Why? Why would you ever do that?
It is a depressant. I've been just a lot more,
100%.
honestly, I mean, cannabis has always been a part of my life, but cannabis doesn't make me hungover.
Oof.
Is that good?
Wow. Oh my goodness.
That's like perfect.
That's so good. Oh my goodness. That's bad that it's good. I'm like, okay.
It's so bad.
And what time is it? 9:30 in the morning?
Yeah, it's about that.
That's
9:43, whatever.
No big deal.
We live in San Diego. This is normal
Yeah.
for San
Fine.
Diego.
We had to do it, like, just to try it.
Yeah,
Like, it's for work.
It's a science test.
Yeah, it's for work.
It's,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it was really fun because, I was like, hey, this is my friend Renee. And then I pretty much knew you for jumping on my back drunk and laughing at me because I was stuck being security. We became good friends. And then one day you're like, hey, I have this business, Dolce Italian Ice, just right down the street on Mission there. So I know that Like it wasn't necessarily, I don't want to say surprising to me, but it was just kind of like, oh, that's really cool. Like I learned a lot, that there's a lot more to you than the average PB person
Thank
that
you.
was like jumping all, because a lot of people were hammered and doing all
Jumping on
that
your
shit.
backs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, no.
No, I
Only a
was the
couple
only
people
one.
ever did that. I think you were the only person who did that. They
Okay.
did a lot of other things in their
Cool.
own ways, but to get my attention. But
I don't know
you,
why jumping is my thing.
I didn't not enjoy it.
But,
But
I just felt like you could handle it. Like you're tall enough. Like, I wouldn't fall over if I jumped on you.
I think there was a couple times I had to catch you because you like kind of missed me,
Okay, that's fine.
but I did.
It's fine.
So
Yeah. This is why I don't go out on PB that much anymore.
me too.
Yeah.
I usually end up with like a 3-day hangover after I go on PB.
Pretty
because
much.
I just, once one bad decision is made, it's like, well, fuck it. I already
Yeah.
made one bad decision. Let's
Right.
make the rest of them.
The whole night.
Yeah.
Then it leads to the morning, and then
And-
you're like, cool, I just saw the sunrise and I didn't plan on it.
Yeah, right. So that is, it just leads to my point more of why I thought it was so cool that you were like, oh yeah, like I actually opened up a brick and mortar fucking Italian ice shop.
Thank
And
you.
I'm just doing it. And then I guess, where did that come from? Like, because to me, like, it seemed like, hey, all of a sudden, like, hey, I have this.
Like random.
Yeah, but to you, I'm sure there was a lot that built up to it,
Yeah. So for as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I think I saw people around me in their, 9 to 5 jobs with bosses above them that, they weren't happy in their jobs. So I was always like, I want to be my own boss. I want to set my own hours. I want to be able to work when I want to work and not have anyone above me, pretty much. So I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I went to school and got my business management degree, and I came back and I thought I wanted to go like the whole cosmetology route, like doing hair and makeup and all that kind of stuff, because my first job ever was in a hair salon. So that just really interested me, and so I thought I was going to own my own hair salon, and then I was like, I don't know, you have to go to school for that too, and so it was just too much for me. So I was talking to my uncle's friend. They came out to visit from New York, and Italian ice is huge back east. It's not really a thing out here still. And so we were just like, we might as well do it. Like he kind of had like the funds for it. I had the energy and the passion for wanting to open a business. So it just kind of worked out that way. And we're like, why don't we do it? It's San Diego. It's always hot here, so we can always have frozen desserts. So we just went for it, kind of blindly. But that's how I do everything in life. I just kind of wing it, and I hope it works out. But I did have like some knowledge, obviously, of business stuff from school.
I mean,
so.
something I've been learning lately a lot is ready, fire, aim, the saying. And it's basically how anything ever actually gets done. Because if you're always doing the ready, aim, fire, like you end up just taking too much time always, like figuring out, preparing your steps.
Absolutely.
And then you never actually get enough done to make yourself successful. So it's more like,
Ready, fire, aim,
wake
I like
up,
that.
be like, I'm doing this, and then do it, and then you figure it out while you're on it. Because like there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path.
Right.
Like you can study the path all you want, like photos, words of advice, like everything. You could even walk the path multiple times before, but every single time you walk that path, it's going to be a little bit different.
Right.
Like, so the only thing you can do
Just
is
go
walk
for it. That's all I've ever done with everything is just kind of go for it and see what happens. And, you learn from it. It's not going to be a success every time, but I feel like if you do it, and even if you like quote unquote fail, if you learn from it, I think it's still a success. So that's kind of how I live my life. Because a lot of people, like you said, like a lot of people will prepare and research and do all this kind of stuff, and some people don't even fire. They're ready, aim, and they don't fire. Like they don't really finish it. So I feel like, I went the other way around, and whatever, it's working.
It's definitely been working. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I was very impressed or just kind of
Thank
been
you.
like, that's really cool that like you won the best vegan dessert in San Diego
Yeah,
like
it's
2 years
crazy.
in a row?
2 years in a
I
row.
mean, I know I've been in a bunch. You always give me samples, and I love it.
It's good stuff. Yeah, we didn't even honestly plan on having the whole vegan soft serve thing. So the more that people came in, and San Diego's pretty big on like health food and that kind of stuff. So people kept coming in being like, what are your vegan options? And we just had the Italian ice. And so we're like, why don't we brought in a new machine, like a whole different machine. And so we offered more vegan
Mhm.
stuff. And then we started making vegan ice cream cakes, which you can't really find anywhere. So just kind of like found our niche, which is pretty cool. But that's the stuff you learn along the way. Like
Mhm.
that was not in the business plan. It was just something that we
Yeah,
were
it's
like,
not
wait,
something you can
people
plan
want this.
for.
Yeah. So that's the cool part about it. You get customers and you learn like what their needs are, and you have to like change your menu or your way of doing things to kind of cater to them because they're the ones giving you money. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is true. It's they are the ones giving you money. There's so many businesses that forget that.
Right.
That it's like, hey, if you want to have a business, you got to get people to give you money.
Right.
And if you're not doing what the customer wants or needs, then they're not going to give you money.
Right.
And I feel like it's such a simple concept that so many people just overlook because they're just so stuck in this is what I'm doing, this is going to make it, and this is going to work, or it's even worse is this is the way I've always done it, or this is the way I love to do it.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm making everybody else buy for me, and it's
Yeah.
like that's not that's not how you grow. Like you might be able to find a couple people,
Yeah.
like a handful of people, like maybe enough to live like a semi decent life, like
Mhm.
making some money through your business. But you're never gonna make yourself successful by just doing what you think other people want.
Right. People just I mean, you got to give the people what they want.
That's exactly
But,
it.
people start out and they think like, "Oh, this is going to be great." And so when it's not so great and when people are asking for something else, it's hard for them to like swallow their pride and be like, "Shoot, I got to change what I'm doing." So, it's hard because you have this vision of what you want to do and it's not always what the people want.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure it's different in every city. Like if I went to, I don't know, somewhere in the middle of nowhere and offered vegan soft serve, like people wouldn't really care about it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you do have to cater to where you are.
Yeah. I know that I don't remember specifically, but I know that you did hit like a couple of really tough like mental times in Dolce where you were just like kind
Oh
of
my
like
God.
fuck this shit. Like there's so much going on, like we're not making that much money. I also need to do all of this in order to grow.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I mean, owning a business obviously is not all rainbows and butterflies. I think that a lot of people they're like, I want to open my own business and I'm going to have my own hours and I'm just going to like reap all the benefits and I'm going
mhm.
to, watch my bank account grow and not have to be there. And it's like, oh my goodness, it's almost the polar opposite of that because it's like your child. Like it really is like, this is my child. So
Uh-huh.
you want to be there all the time and you have to put in that hard work. And sometimes you don't get paid. Like there were so many months where I was just like, I can't even pay myself because I'm putting so much money back into, marketing or advertising or just having employees. And so, yeah, it gets tough sometimes. There are so many, I mean, it was amazing at so many points. And
Mhm.
then at so many points, I was just like, you think like, what am I doing? Is this like what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I doing it right? So yeah, there was a lot of rough patches, and I think that's where I was like, I'm just gonna drink, like because it's like you get so stressed out, you
Yeah.
don't know what to do, and this was my first business, so like I'm winging it the entire time. So it's definitely been quite the roller coaster, but I mean, at every low point, you realize you have to make it work.
Yep.
Like you have overhead, you have energy bills, you have to pay your employees, you have to do all this. So you just figure out a way to make it work. Like once you hit rock bottom, you're like, okay, I got to do something. I got to change something in order to make it work because I'm not going to fail at this. So, but it's not yet, like I said, it's not just like smooth sailing all the time. So that's the beauty of opening a business. You just figure it out. You find a way and you figure it out, and things work out. And maybe if they don't, they don't, but you can't get down on yourself about it because so many businesses fail all the time. And
I think it's like 90% in the first 3 years.
yeah,
And I can tell you, I think that number should be way lower. Like honestly,
well, yeah,
I think that there's so many businesses that could make it to the 3 year mark if they just knew that all it takes is just more tenacity and grit.
just,
Like
yeah,
like
persistence.
I feel like a lot of people quit because they aren't starting to see the results right away, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't have people to talk about. They don't have a support system. They don't know other people with small businesses
Right,
or enough people
right,
that they can call or to share their stories with. So like they don't see, because like as human beings we understand what we see and experience, right?
yeah,
So if you don't see and experience other entrepreneurs like making it past that 3 year mark, but also still probably having less money at the 3 year mark than they did at the 1 year mark,
mm-hmm,
because that's just kind of how it goes
mm-hmm.
for most
Isn't that
businesses.
crazy?
Yeah, but
Backwards.
it's literally it's a lifestyle choice
Yeah,
to start a business. It is not, it should never be a choice of I'm going to start this to make money to live
like,
my life. Like it should be I'm good at this or I have a great idea
right,
and I want to change the world in a little way and take my piece of it and help shape the world with whatever my business is. Like, because when your business is a purpose in your life, then it becomes more than the money, and then you can actually put yourself into it and trust that over the long run, you're just shaping the world around you to fit your business, and then your business starts to become relevant after years and years of work.
right. I think that's exactly it. It's just having that passion for something, and that's when the money comes. I think that's with anything in life. If you're passionate about it, that's when everything else kind of falls into place. And for me, I was super passionate about it in the beginning, and I think honestly like our best years were year 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found Arbonne, and I realized I was super passionate about Arbonne, and so I realized I wasn't as passionate about frozen desserts. So, but that's where the money comes in. It's a direct correlation of where is your energy, where is your passion. Like you could be selling anything, and people might think they don't need it, but if you have that energy and that passion for it, then that's what people want to buy into. They want to buy something that you are passionate about because
Mm-hmm.
anyone can sell ice cream. Anyone can do that. But if you put
Yeah,
your
there's even the old saying, he's such a good salesman, he could sell ice cream to an Eskimo, you
right,
know?
yeah, that's the thing. It's like you just have to be passionate about anything that you do, and people will see that. And I have so many customers that do come in just because they know me. Like they're coming in because they know me and they know my passion for, what I'm doing with Dolce, and so that's why they're there. And but yeah, I think that's all. That's for sure what it comes down to in Arbonne is passion, because we sell skincare, we sell makeup and nutritional products and all that kind of stuff, but you can find that anywhere. I mean, yes,
It's
I do
true.
believe our products are way more superior than all the other products because of like our ingredient policy and all that kind of stuff, but if people don't if people don't know that I'm passionate about it, they're going to go buy skincare or whatever
Yeah.
from somewhere else. But I've been so successful with Arbonne because of my energy about it. Because people are like, oh my God, I can tell you really believe in this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I might as well try it. So that's all it comes down to.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've always been a big fan of supporting your business and,
Thank you.
watching you grow and all that. But I definitely had a lot of fun watching you crush Arbonne over the last year.
Thank
Like
you.
I could definitely tell like it was like a natural progression for you, because I feel like watching you grow your businesses, like Dolce was like an establishment for you in your life. Like it was like a stepping stone, and I
Stepping
feel like it
stone.
always was
I see. I
because,
didn't think so,
well,
but I didn't know any better.
so it was definitely a big step, like a jump, because all of a sudden you're like, I have a business, and we're like, everyone in
You're
town was
like,
like,
what?
oh fuck, like okay, like
You're like,
cool,
this is just this drunk girl, and now she like thinks she owns a business.
yeah, and so like that was cool, like that was awesome, that happened, and then But I think once you really got into it and realized kind of more your own power and strength, I feel like you were bigger than that business model. You know, like your
Mhm.
energy, your excitement, your passion, your drive to build and support other people. Like that doesn't happen in a ice
In
cream
an ice
shop.
cream shop.
You know.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Is like, I mean, I always wanted to own a business, so this was, like you said, it was a stepping stone, and I've learned a lot from it. But I always wanted something more. I knew I was more than, and the whole vegan route was cool because I was like, okay, cool, I can cater to this different group of people that have different like dietary needs. So I think, I became more passionate about becoming a little bit healthier because frozen custard is not healthy at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I think once I went the whole vegan route, and then I actually went vegan for just a little bit for just myself to try and get healthier and just to see what it was all about. And then I started diving into like just being healthier in general because for me, like you touched on before, I was just going through a lot of stuff with Dolce and like mentally just
Oh yeah.
draining. It was
I
super
did all of
depressing.
that. There's a lot of people in this city that, and Denver too, that have seen me just like on my rides, like
Yeah.
drinking, partying, just,
Yeah.
all of the bad decisions. And I had a lot of
Right.
fun,
Right.
but,
It's like you have a lot of fun and then you're like,
but it was more
why
of
am I doing
it
this?
was an escape more than having fun. Like, and
A
that's why I
hundred
would go
percent.
so hard is because it was like, I wasn't happy with where I was yet.
That was exactly me. I started drinking a lot, and I just remember I got to a point in my life, it was maybe like a year and a half ago. I just kind of hit rock bottom, and I was drinking a lot. I was up till whatever time in the morning, and I just remember that day I was like, I just had a mental breakdown. I just was like bawling, crying. I was like, this isn't me. This isn't me. This isn't who I want to be. I don't want to be just owning a business, but then like drinking all the time because I'm stressed about it. Like
Hmm.
I'm meant for so much more. So I stopped drinking for like 6 weeks at that point,
I
and
remember when you
then
did that.
I stopped drinking. It was really hard living in PB, or I was actually living at home at the time, but all my friends were in PB.
Which was like La Mesa,
La
right?
Mesa,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was probably 20 minutes away, so just a little bit further. But I would, just get drunk and like stay at my friend's house in PB. And I was like, this isn't what I want to do. So I stopped drinking for a while, and it was hard because you kind of realize that all those friends, not all those friends, but a lot of those friends that you have at the time are kind of like your party friends,
Hmm.
and they're not. It just wasn't what I wanted to surround myself with. And so once you stop drinking, you kind of realize like you don't have those same friends anymore because they're still drinking and they have different priorities, which is fine. Everybody has different,
Yeah.
phases and
And
journeys of
I've gone
life.
through that kind of separation as well. And it's not that I think any less of my friends that still party and drink. It's
Right.
just that I can't do that in my life anymore.
Right.
Like
You
I
have
just
different priorities. You have
yeah,
different things you
like
want to
I couldn't
accomplish.
I realize like I think part of it's definitely just like getting into your 30s. But
Oh God, I'm
like the
scared.
hangovers, so it's like the physical hangover a day or two, but the mental hangover and trying to launch a business I realized could last up to like 5 days.
Mhm.
And I would completely wipe out all of my motivation and drive and work ethic
Mhm.
for 3 to 5 days after going out drinking hard one night. And I was like, I didn't just get hungover for one day. I lost momentum and speed and productivity in my business for like a week because I went out drinking.
Right.
Like I lost 1 out of 52 weeks in the year.
Right.
Like,
And it's so hard to get back into momentum. Once
hmm
you lose that, it's so hard to just find like the willpower and the self motivation to get back into it because you're like, because then you get down on yourself that you were out of the game for a week, and then, it's just like a downward spiral. So I definitely feel you on that. But and it's one of those things where I stopped drinking, which helped my mental state. And then I moved out of my mom's house. I moved back to PB because I wanted to be on my own. I mean, I love my mom to death, but it's you don't want to say you're 20 something years old and
yeah.
you had to move back in with your parents. Like that's just not a thing that you want to be proud of. Meanwhile, like my friends are buying houses and stuff, so I was like, okay, I'm going to move back out on my own And that's kind of when Arbonne fell into my lap too. And I was realizing I need to get healthy. They have a detox program that is amazing. So I started on that, and I knew the income plan, compensation plan works because I saw the people at the top of the company with their free Mercedes and going on these trips and, staying there. They don't have any other job. Like their job is
Yeah.
Arbonne. So I was like, I know that the income works. I know the products work. So I was like, I'm just going to dive in and do it. And I, just kind of found that this was a passion of mine that I didn't even know that I really had. I mean, I've always worked out my entire life, like been healthy in that aspect as far as like
But really taking
eating
ownership
healthy.
of your health.
Yeah, and
Right?
like being completely physically healthy. Like eating, I mean, in high school I'd down like a burrito and then a Snickers ice cream bar every day at lunch and still be a
Ooh,
twig
same. I
and
was
think
on like 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day, and I was just
yeah.
a beanpole,
Yeah.
right?
You're like, but it's fine. Because I mean, I was playing soccer like every day too, but
Hmm.
you don't realize until you get older what that's actually doing to your insides. And not only that, but your mental health too.
I
What you're
completely
eating and
agree.
putting into your body directly correlates with your mental health too.
It
So,
absolutely does. That's definitely a lesson that I've learned recently is how connected like the body, spirit, and mind really are. Like if one is off, it completely destroys the other two.
it's
Like
so
if
true.
it just like you have to have your mind focused, you have to have your body being healthy and operating, and you have to have faith in, if nothing else, yourself
Right.
in what you're doing.
Right.
Like you need all three.
You need all three. I think a lot of people right now nowadays get depressed because they think they have one of those going on. They're like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I eat healthy." But okay, are they like working out? Are they whatever it is, going to church, surrounding themselves with
Yeah.
positive people? Like, if they're not doing all of the things, then that's when things aren't aligned. Like you have to be doing all of the things in order to progress in life. And I kind of realized that too. So I was downward spiraling and then I started getting physically healthy, which contributed to my mental health finally. And in Arbonne, I mean, Arbonne is so much more than the products. We have amazing products. What people don't know is the community of people. And that's what a lot of people are missing in life is a community that's going to build you up that cares about not only their own mental and physical health but everyone else's too. So I mean, Arbonne is like all about bettering the world and everything. So it's just a good community to be involved with. Like I don't think I would be involved with Arbonne if it wasn't the
Mm-hmm.
community aspect. If it was just selling products, I wouldn't be in it. It's like you go to the meetings and you leave being like on top of the world that you met so many cool people, you're inspired by so many people and everyone has different stories to tell. But at the end of the day, like I just got back from Mexico with Arbonne on a free trip
Right.
and I met the most amazing people. Like everyone, no matter if you're at the top of the company or, what stage you are in the company, everyone was so nice and just wanted to help everyone be better in business or better in life. And you don't find that a lot of places. I feel like nowadays a lot of people are constantly trying to compete with people or bring people down because they're not happy for their success and that kind of stuff. So it's really refreshing to be in a company that just cares about you as a person, which is rare. So,
Right. God, that's one of my favorite, I guess, farces of starting companies is all of a sudden you'll get a lot of people that learn that you have a business and they immediately associate that with being successful.
oh my gosh,
And you're just,
yeah.
and then like you kind of see their attitude change. And then you're kind of just like, bro, the girl that I just got fast food from has more money than I do. Like,
Oh my God,
you
it's so
know?
true.
Or it's like the homeless guy on the street asking me for money probably has more net worth than I do.
Mhm.
And yeah, I have a business, but like personally, like it's a joke. It's like
Right.
I don't know where this idea came from where when you have a business you have lots of money. especially a new business.
Especially new business, especially brick
Like,
and mortar too.
yeah, because like me, like my company, marketing, and like we don't really have overhead. Like, yeah, we have assets like production equipment, computers, like bought the car through the company, like all of
Mhm.
that. But like those are assets that we use to leverage to get more money to,
Right.
can grow our business. So it's all like reinvested assets basically. Like
Right.
like I can't like get rid of them because then I lose like the assets that actually give my company value
Right.
because that's all that we have for value.
Right.
And it's like I don't have any money, and people are like, "Well, don't you have savings?" It's like, yeah, I spent all that a long time ago on my
On
business.
your business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, what do you think?
That was definitely something starting out with Dolce that was hard because a lot of people, same thing. I would go out with them, like we eat or whatever, and people be like, oh, like you got this, you're a business owner. And it's like, it's the polar opposite. Like, I invest all my time and all my money and efforts and energy into this business. And like I said, I would go months without paying myself
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. So, yeah, this notion of like, if you own a business, you're rich
Yeah,
thing is
I haven't
crazy
I
to
haven't
me.
paid myself in 7 months. Like I
Yeah,
still bartend one night a week so that I have money for food and gas.
yeah,
And like
that's
if it's a
crazy.
slow week, I don't eat a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
like
but that's like obviously the end goal is to not be like that, but you have to, it takes years and years
yeah,
of hard work to get to that goal, but it's definitely not, like I said, it's not all rainbows and freaking butterflies
like
in the
a
beginning.
lot of the best like startup CEOs out there that end up becoming worth millions will tell you that they paid themselves less than all of their employees and that they were basically in poverty until the day they sold their business, and then there was seven, eight, nine figures in their bank account.
Right.
Like they were like, yeah, I spent 10 years basically like living in like the smallest, shittiest apartment or whatever because they didn't want to take anything from their business
Right.
because as the leader is like knowing where all the pieces are and what you actually need. Like if you're taking from your business, you're hurting your
You're
business.
yeah, you're
Like
hurting your business and
so
it
you
just
take
doesn't
as
make
little
sense.
from it as possible and reinvest everything that you can into growth, and then that
Right.
day comes where it just finally hits.
Right.
You're like, boom.
You're like,
Like,
yes,
all right.
this is why
Now
I
it's
did
like,
all this.
fuck you, bitches.
Yeah, it's like now I'm rich. But it takes a while to get to that point. It's not
And
owning a business
if you even
isn't
get there.
right, exactly. But owning a business is not a get rich quick scheme. It's just something that you do because like we said, like you're passionate about it and you see
Mm-hmm.
the end goal and you know it's worth it in the end. Same thing with Arbonne. It's like it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's awesome because you get to set your own hours and whatever effort you put into it, that's the income that you will get.
Yeah.
But it takes a little while to build up to that. I mean, it's quicker than a lot of jobs, which is why I like it because in a matter of a year, I was able to earn my free Mercedes. So
Right?
which is crazy, but I worked hard for it, and
Yeah.
it only happened because I am passionate
So
about it.
I me and my business partner Dom, which we've talked about this a little bit. So as I mentioned before, I've been watching like your stories and everything, and watching you grow your business because we've been friends and I love supporting you. And over the last year, I've seen you do like just tremendous work using social media
Thank you.
for growing your Arbonne business.
Thank you.
And you've used techniques that I've never seen before.
That's crazy
And
because I'm
so
like I don't know that I'm doing
yeah,
it.
so one night Dominic and I were over on the whiteboard and we were talking about another kind of like affiliate influencer business model on social media. And I was like, bro,
You're so funny.
I was like, my friend Renee absolutely destroyed this year.
Oh
And
my god,
so
you're
I
so
literally just
funny.
like wrote it all down. And so I kind of have the steps here. So, and I call it
You're
like
gonna
the
give everyone my
the
my
Renee
technique.
Influence Affiliate Social Media Steps to Success. So,
I mean, I feel like people should pay for
oh, they definitely should.
this.
But here's the secret to growing digital. you give away your secrets for free, because if people actually want to do what you're doing, they still have to pay you.
I like
Yeah.
it.
So, step one, I'm going to go through this. Step one, you shared your story. You made yourself open and vulnerable and kind of like why you're starting this path.
Right.
And you continue to do that all the way through, and kind of just like every single thought, action that you did, I could tell you were sharing that.
Mhm.
So you created a lot of connection with people. You created your why, which is very
We
important.
always talk about that in
Yeah.
Arbonne. You have to know your why because that's going to motivate you to get
Mhm.
wherever you want to go. You have to know why you're here and why you're doing
Exactly.
this, and then that will lead you to why you're doing what you're doing. So, yeah, I mean, I don't, it's so funny. I didn't even realize like I do all this stuff. I think just subconsciously you learn, like I'm learning from everyone else, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, that looks cool. Like it looks like it would work, and then I just kind of do it, and you never know what the outcome's gonna be. You never know people are watching. You always think like,
Yeah.
who's watching? Who cares about
Like
my
you weren't
story?
even doing anything besides just like taking photos of the product and being like, I'm using this because of this. You did some kind of like before and after
Mm,
selfies, kind of being like, like I did the detox, like, and you would explain, you would actually go into detail. You'd be like, this is what I was eating, this was my lifestyle, and I
yeah,
felt like shit,
yeah,
like I hated myself a little bit. And then you did like your kind of after, and you're like, now I have more energy. And you
yeah.
weren't being like, all my problems are solved, but you were like,
Oh yeah,
it's
no,
better than I was 3 weeks ago.
yeah.
And that's all that matters to me. So you made it attainable. Like you made your why attainable, I guess, which is
Yeah, I
really cool.
think what I do differently than some people is I'm super real and I'm more relatable. And I think people have kind of told me that I've done like a few trainings and stuff, and they'll stop me and be like, thank you for being so relatable. Because I think some people see people on social media and they're like, oh, I can never do that. Like,
Hmm.
she has this, or she has this, or she has this many followers, or, whatever it is. And it's like, no, I've been through shit. Like I'm a real human. I think people like to see that that people are real and they're
Yeah.
still successful because they're real. Like we all, I think hiding, we all see the highlight reel on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I try and show not the highlight reel all the time because I think people need to see that. Like I'm still a real human, but
You
I've
you
somehow
definitely
made it
made
work.
yourself accessible, right?
Yeah, I try.
Yeah. So step two was you incorporated the stories of your new followers. So you basically took what you were doing for yourself and then shared other people doing exactly what you showed them you were doing.
Mhm.
And you did that very well. So you would teach your followers steps to success, and you would engage and encourage your followers regularly. Like
Mhm.
you were constantly like every time I opened up Instagram, which being in a digital marketing company is at least once an hour, there
Mhm.
were multiple new stories of yours. Like you were just fucking crushing. And you would share everybody else's posts. Like they weren't all they were probably 10 to 20% your posts.
Uh huh.
Everything else was stuff that you shared that other people posted based on what you posted,
Uh
which
huh.
is incredibly powerful because it was showing that you were the centric motion or the centric force in what was bringing all these people around you. You were creating a gravitational pull towards what you were building, and
Yeah.
you could see all the people swirling.
Yeah.
And so you
This is
definitely,
great. It's
yeah.
like I'm learning from you, learning from me. I'm like,
You would definitely teach other people, I'm sure more on the back end, kind of like how to work Instagram like you were doing, which was
mhm.
basically like, this is what I'm doing and it's working.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
just do what I do, which I think was huge. But this is where it really gets. Step three, goal or incentive based public recruiting. And this is where I really saw your game changer come in because I've never seen anybody else do social media like team building like you have. So, what she did, guys, and it's fucking brilliant, is so she would basically make a list, an open list with 10 number
Mm.
slots. And she'd be like, and it was probably like like once a month or so, probably
Mhm.
ish. And she would basically make this list, 10 open number slots, and she'd be like, hey guys, I'm adding 10 people to my team. And like I'm just doing it. Like that's what I'm doing. I'm adding 10 people to my team. And every single time she added somebody to the team, she would put their name on there and then reshare the story and tag everybody in it. And then I'm sure everybody else would tag because they're tagged in the stories. So then
Yeah.
you're creating a share. So you've got you and another person, then you've got two people sharing your story. You've got you and three other people, then you've got four people sharing your story. So you just went from, say, all of you got 1,000 followers. So you just, or each of you get,
Mhm.
we'll just say each of you get 500 people that view the story. Like you're all active on social media. So you just went from 500 people to 1,000 people to 2,000 people viewing your one story off of three people.
Yeah.
You get to 10 people, then you've got 10 people incestuously sharing everybody else's posts
Right.
over and over and over again. And every single time they reshare that, that's 500 new views on your list.
Right.
So if every single person out of those 10 people shared every other person's post at 500 people, fuck, I don't even want to do that
Wow,
math
that's a
right
lot
now.
of math.
So that's
Too much
500 times
tequila for that.
10 is 5,000 times 10. So that's potentially like 50,000 people viewing your one board of how many people you're adding to your list by the
Right.
time it's full.
Right.
Potentially.
Right.
I don't know the real numbers, but at $500 views per story and every person shares every single share, and if every person actually shares every single time you share,
Yeah.
and so each person has 10 stories posts reshared off of yours, that's 50,000 views.
It's genius.
Fucking brilliant. Like, and the fact that you made it public, so there's like a philosophy theory truth to like being a leader and creating a following. So one person doing something is crazy. But then the first follower is the most important person because it shows that to the public that you're not as crazy as everybody
They
thinks
think.
you are. Be like, all right, so like this other person jumped on board, but then a third person comes and joins, and then everyone around is starting to go, oh, maybe there's something here. But then the
Mhm.
fourth, fifth, and then it comes to a point where there's so many people joining your team that the people that are crazy are the ones that
Are
aren't
the ones
coming
that
to
know.
join you. So
Yeah.
you actually if you can just get that first follower, your entire game will change to where
Absolutely.
within a very short period of time, you will be the person that's not crazy. And the people that aren't joining you are the people that are crazy. And
Absolutely.
you basically took that entire mental aspect of building a community that's been embedded in us for probably tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. I mean, being a community based society or animal is what's led to our success and growth.
Mhm.
So this is as deep as it goes. So you've keyed into as deep as our DNA goes in building community around us for our own survival. You've keyed into that through your story posts, which is absolutely crazy to me.
I'm like mind blown at my own things that I do. But it's true. Honestly, what it comes down to is, and we talk a lot about it in Arvon, is creating a sense of FOMO. Because FOMO is real. So
Mm-hmm.
people don't want to be missing out. And yeah, when you're only doing your story posts or whatever it is, and you only have a team of just yourself, yeah, people look at you like, oh, she's crazy, like she's not gonna last long, or she's not in it to win it, whatever. But once you get that team,
Yeah.
once you get, yeah, that first person, it not only for everyone else, but for you, you immediately become a leader. You're like, okay, I have someone on my team, like I have to be a leader. And then you teach them how to build their team and everything. And so you start getting all these people on board because everyone else is now watching and they're getting FOMO, and no one wants to be missing out. And
Mm-hmm.
so then they start joining. They don't even know what they're joining, but they're like, I just want to be a part of it, because everyone wants to be a part of something that everybody's doing.
Exactly.
No one wants to be on the outside. So then they start seeing everyone join. And that's what's happening with all of Arbonne right now, because like we're blowing up and people are seeing that people are joining. So they're like, I'm just going to join. Like I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just going to join because everybody's doing it. So yeah, if you
Right.
create that sense of, people missing out, then they're not going to want to miss out anymore, and they're going to want to join. It's like this
Yeah.
chain reaction.
And it's so crazy, like coming full circle, like of having a community around you. Because like you know, we were both a few years ago, we were both partiers. And
Mhm.
we had a community of partiers around us. So
Mhm.
what do you do when all of your friends around you are partiers? You
You
party all the
party.
time and like you do what they're doing. And then there's definitely that lonely, sad, fucked up period in your head and your body when you kind of have to leave those people because like you're always arguing with yourself like should I go, should I not go, because it's like you feel
Because you
bad.
don't want to miss out. You don't want to
Yeah,
leave them and then miss out.
but then you create this community around you of people that are driven for success and health, and then you realize that you want to always be more successful and more healthy because these people are around you and they're driving you to live that life. And it's the community feeling is still there. You just had to build a new community. So it's
Right.
like it really is building the people around you that you want your life to be.
Mhm.
Like it's intentionally building your life basically. And
Right.
so like coming kind of full circle to that, to you've taken, and it's definitely a similar path that I've taken. So I know how hard it was, is all of the fun friends to just deep being by yourself, like just being
Yes.
like, I gotta do this, like I gotta make this change, to all of a sudden being like, all of my friends are fucking awesome. Like
Yeah.
they all want me to succeed. They're all trying to succeed for themselves. They just want to be healthy and fit and mentally well and sound and financially successful.
That's
And it's
exactly what it was.
and it's so much better.
Oh my God.
Like
It's a
so
world of difference.
because it's like you still only see people every once in a while and all that, and it's like you, nothing's changed, but everything has changed. Like you
Yeah.
still hit people up to like go out and like go do things, like go on a hike, maybe you go get drinks, maybe you're just getting dinner, maybe you're having a business meeting, like but you're still seeing people like just as frequently as you would when you're like hanging out with all the party people.
Right.
But you're
But it's
just
just a
the
different,
discussions are different.
it's a different vibe.
Like
It's
when
a
you say you
different,
have to go home early because you got shit to do, they're not like, fuck you, like you
it's
got to
like
stay
people
out and drink with me all
understand.
night, or let's go in the bathroom and do some lines. Like, fuck you, like stay up. And it's like, no, people, if you say like you have, now if I say I have to go home early because I have to get up and
Because
do
you
shit,
work.
people are like, all right, man, cool, like see you later, crush it tomorrow.
Like people understand.
Like it's just that little, like nothing else is different. It's just the other people are different,
Yeah.
which
And
makes
it's
it
not
easier.
to say that, we don't know how to have fun and party, because
Yeah,
definitely still do. And
I'm
like,
still a pro at that.
yeah, I'm still, yeah, exactly. And I mean, we did it in Mexico, but it's just like a different kind of
I'm
having
drinking
fun.
tequila right now.
It's like a healthier fun. No, but it's true. It's like we're still the same deep down. We're still the same people. We just have different goals and priorities now and different things that we want to accomplish. So we still know how to have fun. Like we had so much fun in Mexico. We got down and dirty, but then we're still waking up and making connections and placing orders and trying to be inspiring and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we still, it's a combination of both versus before it was just kind of just the party life and you didn't know where you were headed. And then yeah, that freaking middle depressing stage is real. And
Yeah.
it's so hard, but so many people go through it and so many people go through it alone and you have no idea. Like I would have had no idea that you went through that or vice versa, which is why I try and be more open, but there's so many people going through that we have no idea about. So I think at the end of the day, we need to be more, what's the word, like sympathetic
Mm-hmm.
towards everyone,
Yeah.
and just trust that everybody has their own path, and love them on their path no matter what it is. Like if they want to be in the party phase, cool, love them for that. If they're going through a bunch of shit, definitely love them for that and be
Oh,
there for
yeah.
them. And then when they're successful and they're trying to better themselves, love them for that too, because I think a lot of people, like I said before, they're jealous of people's success. And I used to be that person. I used to look at people that were, better than me or had more than me, and I would be super jealous and, like, why do they get all these things and I don't? And now I look at people that with success and I'm like, I'm so happy for you. Like even
Yeah.
if they're, way higher up than me in Arbonne or whatever it is, I'm like, I'm so happy for you, because it's all, there's no point in being pissed off at people that are doing better than you. they're just on a different path and they're at a different
Yeah.
stage in their life. And the more positive you are about it, you'll get there too. But I think it just comes down to like loving people at every stage that they're at in life, because no one wants to feel like you're alone at any of those stages, because that shit's hard. That middle
It's
stage, you're
super,
like,
super hard.
what am I doing?
Oh yeah, like I try to be as open as I can, but it's like I definitely spent months like debating. Like I never would, but like well, I wonder what suicide would be like. Like what's the point to all this?
Yeah.
Like I don't think I ever got really close to it, but
Oh my God, that just like gave me
I definitely
chills.
understand how people can. Like
Yeah.
how easy it is to get to that point where you're just like there's no fucking purpose to any of this. Like my life doesn't mean anything. I'm never going to be able to provide value.
Yeah.
Like it's really easy to get to that point, and
Yeah.
it's the
Oh my God, you're gonna
support.
like make me cry.
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to make you cry,
No, it's
but
just it's
like
uh,
it's you're so right. Like that middle phase is just so lonely and hard because you don't even know who you are because you just
yeah.
cut everything out of your life that represented who you were,
Yeah, and you're like, wait, now what do I
and then
do?
you
And
have
you're
to
so
completely
alone.
rebuild yourself,
Hmm.
which takes incredible strength and patience and time and perseverance, but it makes you strong enough to be successful. Weak people cannot be successful.
Yes. And that, so every time I go through these little depressive phases, which I'm going to be real, it happens, it still happens in my life. Like, no matter how successful I am, like,
Hmm.
there's still times where I'm like, I'm depressed or I'm anxious or whatever it is.
Human
And
emotions are a bitch.
yeah.
Like,
But every time I go through these things, I actually am super, super grateful that I'm going through them, because there's so many people that are stuck in the first phase of like partying all the time and they never get out of it. They never realize that they have a problem or that they want to do something more with their
mhm.
life. So whenever I am depressed or anxious or whatever it is, I'm like actually super grateful. And I talked about this with one of my friends. I just like, you have to look at it as like you're super blessed that you're realizing that you don't want to be the way that you are and you want to live a better life. So I feel super fortunate when I'm going through those tough times, which is really backwards. And people are like, wait, you're crazy. But it's like you have to embrace every stage of life, but you have to like really be grateful that you go through those shitty times, because it means that it's only up from there and you're going to become that much more successful and stronger from there. So just like be grateful that you go through that shit, because like I said, a lot of people just are stuck in that phase and they're stuck in the drinking and not wanting to better themselves. And like I feel bad for those people. I really do. I wish that they saw that there's so much more to life. So that's kind of been something I've been wanting to do now. Like I want Arbonne to provide the resources for my next venture in life, is exactly what we're talking about, is this whole depression thing, because the more people I open up to about it, the more I realize that a lot of people go through depression and anxiety, and it's honestly becoming an epidemic.
It's
And it's
been
a
an epidemic.
silent, but it's so silent. Like
It
you don't
is.
you don't realize, you see me on Instagram, and if I didn't do all the real stuff, you see me and you think like she has money, she lives in PB, she has great family and like has, her own business and Arbonne and a Benz and goes on trips, and it's like, so you see all that and you think that I live this lavish life, but at the end of the day I'm still human. But you would never know unless I opened up to you. So I think I want to make it more of a thing where people are open about what they're going through, because when they're closed, when they're doing all this behind closed doors and no one knows about it, that's when like scary things happen, is when people can't open up to people about it because they feel like, why would I talk to Renee about it? She's,
Hmm.
so successful and happy and all this. Like, why would I do that? So I want to make it more of a thing where like I'm trying to help people get physically healthy now, but like I want people's mental health to be a
Yeah.
priority too. And people shouldn't be living in the dark about what they're going through, because we all go through it. Like you go through it. So many people I've talked to go through this stuff,
Yeah.
and it's just a matter of getting it out into the open and finding ways to make our lives better and know that we're not alone. So that's my next venture. So
I love it.
look out for that one.
I can't wait to hear more. Can you tell the people where to find you, your social media, your
Yes.
website, your store address, any of that?
Yes. So my social media is going to be the best place to find me. So it's at Renee Waddell. I also have Dolce Italian Ice on Instagram. That's going to be in PB. So it's on Mission and PB Drive. I don't have a website, but I could totally make one. But basically, Instagram. Instagram's going to be the way to go.
Okay.
So follow me, DM me if it's anything personal or anything you need to talk about. I'm an open book. So I think that's what I want people to kind of know about me is you can confide in me. I know people might not know me, but I want to just have a safe place for people to open up to. So
Perfect.
that's me.
I love that.
Hey.
Thank you for coming on.
Thanks
I
for
look
having
forward
me.
to watching
This
your
is
journey
so
even more.
Fun.
Yeah.
More fun with tequila and fizz.
All
so.
the fun with tequila and
Perfect.